Okay, before I start talking about installing a debloated version of Windows 10 or 11 is some prerequisites. We're going to need some software and we're going to need some hardware. The hardware you're going to need is a USB drive that's at least 16 gigabytes in size. That's pretty much any cheapo USB drive. The faster the USB drive can read and write, the better. It'll just take a lot less longer to install Windows that way. So first we're going to need Ventoy, which is, it's like Rufus, where Rufus you can burn an ISO to a USB drive and that creates a Windows, and that turns it into a Windows installation USB drive. Ventoy makes it so that you can use multiple different ISO files and just select the ISO file you want to run as an installer. So you just go to ventoy.net and then go to downloads, windows.zip, and it's right there. Next, we're going to need AnyBurn because we're going to need to modify that ISO. So you can download it from here, boom, AnyBurn setup, you install it, boom. And I'll go how to modify that ISO in a minute. And to get your actual ISO, we want to go to massgrave.dev. This has a repository for a bunch of different Windows ISOs. For this demo, we're just going to go with the Windows 11 Consumer x64 English. It sends you to this repository and you just hit download. Simple. Now, to modify that ISO, we're going to need an auto-unattend script. So we go to schneegans.de and we generated auto-unattend XML files for Windows 10 and 11 here. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can select here. I'm just going to go over a few of the important things. Usually you want to turn off TPM secure boot, whatever. Allows Windows 11 to be installed without an internet connection. We can go down here, generic product keys, whatever. I usually just install a local admin account with no password. And if you can use your Microsoft account here, or just add another local user account interactively when you're installing it. You can go through here, modify a bunch of stuff as well. There's an important one in here where you want to prevent device encryption, because if anything happens to your system and you take the drive out and the drive is fine and you stick it into another system, if you have BitLocker on, it's encrypted. You're going to need that encryption key to decrypt the drive itself, and 99% of the time people don't have that decryption key. So we just prevent the device from being encrypted straight off. And if we go down here, we can see all the apps we can remove, namely Copilot, Recall, all this other crap if you want. And once we're done deciding what we want our auto-unattend script to do, we just hit download XML file. And there it is. So now your downloads folder should look like this. You should have this Ventoy unzipped, your auto-unattend file, your ISO, and AnyBurn. So first we're going to set up AnyBurn. And we're not going to run it immediately because we need to modify our USB drive. So we go into Ventoy, we run Ventoy to disk, run it as administrator, and here's our USB drive. So you can see in our package we have an exFAT file system that has general partition table. If it doesn't say that, we go into here, make sure that GPT is selected, and make sure that secure boot support is selected as well. So all we do is install. It will prompt you twice to make sure that you're not formatting stuff that you don't want to be formatted. And you just wait until it's complete. There we go, Ventoy's on the device. So now we can close this and we can open up AnyBurn. So what we're going to do is we want to edit the image file. So we already are in downloads. We want to open the image file, and here's everything in that image file. We want to take our AutoInnoTen script that we made and just add it. So next, we need to put a custom name for this. I'm just going to call it Windows 11 neutered. And it's important that you put the .iso at the end, otherwise it's going to just make it a generic file. So we hit create now, and we just wait until it's finished. Okay, success. The image has been created successfully, and there's our new ISO. So now what we want to do is open up our USB drive, which will be called Ventoy, and we just want to take our ISO file and drop it into the USB drive. So we got our test system plugged in, and that's our only bootable drive. So here's what we get booted into, and we just want to select our ISO, and it'll boot us right into the Windows installation environment. Alright, here we go. Since we only have one disk in there, we're going to just use this unallocated space here. We just hit next, and off it should go. So now you just sit and wait for it to do its thing.